Thank you very much for this opportunity, Dr. Chitra and ARC team. I just tweaked the title a little bit. It was early cataract with macro-hole. I think the macro-hole is the primary pathology in such cases. So I've switched the topic with keeping macro-hole first. So we are not talking about macro-holes of secondary nature, like MacTel or trauma or myopia or optic disc plate. Let me set the stage for the debate. I'll take 1 minute of the time for that. So here we are talking about idiopathic macro-hole, that's senile macro-holes, which are immature, early cataract. It could be cortical, nuclear, or subcapsular. Patient is willing for both single and staged procedure. And we have a well-equipped operative setup to handle both. And there is unchallenged proficiency, whether it's being operated by a single surgeon or a team of surgeons. Idiopathic macro-hole or senile macro-hole comprise 9 out of 10 cases, and the peak incidence of age of onset is in the 7th decade. That's the decade when already the accommodative capabilities of the eyes have worn out. And the cataract, as we all know, after vitrectomy, either goes a progressive nuclear sclerosis. The average interval between the onset of the first vitrectomy and the time the phacoemulsification is undertaken has been reported to be somewhere around 1 to 3 years. But the poorer vision that the patient report starts immediately, almost immediately, say around 6 months. That is if there are no intraoperative complications like lens touch that have happened. And within a short span, the patient will have to undergo a second surgery if we are planning a sequential surgery for this patient. So let me talk about the pros of a combination surgery. Intraoperatively, if the cataract surgery has already been done, it not only allows a better visualization of the posterior pole and allows intricate surgical steps like internal limiting membrane peeling without the need of intraoperative OCT. And also peripheral retina can be screened. So PVD has to be induced in most of these cases. And if there are any iatrogenic breaks, any cortical changes of cataract would impede the vision and not allow this detection of the complications like retinal breaks. And its adequate treatment is better done if the media is absolutely clear, as in a pseudophakic eye. In a pseudophakic eye, the entry site is also around 3 mm. So you don't have to really go posterior to 4 mm as in a phakic eye. And in certain cases, even 4.5 mm, that error of judgment can cause entry site complications like retinal tears or retinal dialysis or vitreous-based avulsion. In the post-operative period, doing a combination surgery allows faster post-op visual rehabilitation. Because the lens has been removed, it allows a larger amount of gas or air to be injected into the eye. That allows a longer gas tamponade and also would reduce the need for face down positioning and add to the patient's comfort. The risk of subsequent surgery or intervention will not only include the risk of the surgery itself, but also the time and energy and money spent on the subsequent visits that have to be done as a two surgery step. The reduced incidence of PCO has been reported in many publications. It is almost twice as common to have a PCO if the subsequent surgery has been done. Moreover, if the surgery has been done in a single sitting after the phacoemulsification and intraocular lens has been implanted, a small amount of PC can be removed by use of the cutter without any additional complications. So my esteemed colleague would definitely talk about the reduced surgical time as a single surgery if it is done in a sequential way. But if you take it cumulatively, the surgical time and efforts are more. The initial cost definitely would be slightly less, but cumulatively it is going to be significantly more. The post-operative inflammation of a combined surgery can be slightly higher, but since the surgeries are very short, and I am aware that my colleague does vitrectomy for macro-holes in a shorter time than a person can complete phacoemulsification. So this is really not a serious issue. In addition, if at the end of the surgery, using a focal illumination, you can always have a look at the anterior chamber. And if there is a significant plasmoid or aqueous cells or reaction, that can be washed at the end of the surgery before the tamponade tamponade is injected. So there are definitely minor glitches if a combination surgery is done, or for that matter, any surgery is fraught with complications if it is not done in the right way. Pardon?
No, just 1 minute. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Carry on. 1 minute. Yeah.
There are some minor glitches that can happen if this certain solutions or surgical steps are taken. All these problems can be easily handled. The main thing my colleague would talk about is wound problems or miosis or loss of corneal transparency, and all these are easily handled by a proficient surgical team. So there are some refractive changes, since I'm sitting in a forum where patients are expecting a 6/6 from all these esteemed professionals. So just to talk about a refractive change or astigmatism that can be induced because of vitrectomy, this could be handled by a subsequent phaco, but this refractive change or astigmatism is insignificant clinically, and minor amount of alterations can be done to the IOL power formula calculation, so that it is not a significant problem in the post-operative course. So, but to highlight again the problems of sequential surgery, if it is a vitrectomy and patient's lens touch has been done, which is not so uncommon, it can pose certain challenges. The difficulty in post-operative monitoring, if the cataract has set in, again can pose complication whether you're going to do only a cataract surgery or a resurgery, would be a problem, decision difficult to make. Subsequent phaco, with all are aware, because there is a suspected loss of posterior capsular integrity, a post-vitrectomized eye may have a deep or a fluctuating AC, a flaccid posterior capsule, which is associated with higher rate of posterior capsular compromise or zonular dialysis. In addition, iris lens expulsion syndrome is more common in a vitrectomized eye. So challenges of doing a phaco in vitrectomized eye are significantly more as compared to doing that in a non-vitrectomized eye. In addition, posterior capsule plaques are again more common in the delayed postoperative period. So to conclude, doing a simultaneous phaco-vitrectomy for macular hole is not only better, safer, convenient, but also economical for both the patient and for the physician. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jatinder, for a very detailed explanation. Let's